Cap, boots on the ground, what takeaways, lessons learned did you come away from this?
Well, incrementalism is a problem. But that's not really a takeaway or a lesson learned. It's something where honestly I knew beforehand, and yet incrementalism dragged us here. Not that it made a huge impact on the outcome of the incident, because I think decisions made, if I'd had a second alarm hazmat on that scene, would have been the same decisions. The people that that would have been involved in that decision making made the same decisions. But at the end of the day, we were kind of lucky. Or we were lucky that, two of those guys were able to get up and walk out on their own. And what I meant by incrementalism is where we ended up is because of the way we started off. Walking into if you had a clear cut, when I pulled up to that container, that a giant sign that said dangerous hazmat, well, of course I'm going to call the first alarm hazmat, and we would have had that throughout the duration of that incident. But the way that incident started off, brush fire, to it's a box filled with smoke that this guy says is not really anything, to, hey, just give me a hazmat team so I can make a decision, so I can get some meters and make a better decision. At the time we got readings, we could probably balance it up. But again, at the same time, we weren't talking about making entries at that point. We're just looking at a box that we had everything we needed for the posture we were in that moment. If I was back, at that point, I'm calling for more of a hazmat. Or at the time that we're sending people, we're talking about even going into meter any area, to have not just appropriate resources to put water on stuff or to make, but stack on stack, rescue team set up in depth would have been nice, because you're talking about pulling 4 guys out. You need at least 2 guys per guy, if not more, really more. At the same time, we were never talking about a position where we're like, we're outside the building, the entire time. Again, hindsight, going back to basics and having decontamination, appropriate addressed, and who's going to make my rescue and how many crews do I need for that, limiting the people we sent in the hot zone. So when we sent them in, and it made sense at the time, hey, I'm going to split my crew, and 1 crew is going to be backup team, and 2 guys are going in, 2 guys are going to be on a hose line. Well, that makes sense if you keep 2 guys out of any blast. And I don't think any of us were thinking this thing was going to explode. It catch on fire, but you still have to limit people for unknown. You don't know what you don't know. So you keep your 2 people outside. It's a limit who's going to go in and meter. And I think creep might have been a process there too, because I don't know why the hose line was forward where it was, that all of them would take that blast. There's little critiques that can be made, but those lessons really aren't new lessons. They're old lessons that we all should know.